I am Clara Jensen, a 29-year-old woman living in Riverside, California. I work in a small marketing firm, and while my days might seem ordinary, I always found a way to add a little excitement to my life. My friends would say I have a flair for the dramatic. I never back away from speaking my mind. A few people even called me stubborn, though I never liked that term. I would rather think of myself as persistent. But sometimes, that persistence gets tested in ways that I could hardly have anticipated. One Thursday afternoon, everything changed when I received a phone call that would shake my world. A woman, with a polished accent, spoke to me on the other end. She identified herself as being from TRAI, India's Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. I had no idea why a government agency from halfway around the world would be calling me. She informed me that my personal phone number would be blocked in 2 hours. To say that I was taken aback would be an understatement. My mind raced. I asked her why this was happening. She coolly said my number was associated with illegal activities. It felt like I had just been slapped in the face with an ice-cold bucket of water. I could almost hear the laughter of my friends in my head as they teased me about being in trouble in a foreign country. They would definitely have a field day with that. The panic began to set in as she instructed me to head to the Andheri police station in Mumbai to prove my innocence. My heart raced. I had never been in any serious trouble before, and the thought of having to fend for myself in a foreign country made me nauseated. The stakes were shocking, and my life felt like it was spiraling out of control. Without knowing what else to do, I agreed. The woman arranged a WhatsApp video call and promised me it would all be sorted out. I held my breath as I stared at the screen, praying I would find someone who could help me. When a man in full police uniform appeared on my screen, I felt relief wash over me, at least for a moment. But that went away quickly when he proceeded to scold me for being involved in money laundering. I sat there, practically shaking, as he interrogated me about my financial status. It was absurd. I barely had any money in my bank account. "Prove your innocence," he bellowed, and I felt the weight of the world on my shoulders. He asked for my financial inventory, my account statements, and my balance. I wanted to tell him that I was just a girl trying to make a living, but my words wouldn't form. Instead, in a moment of desperation, I quickly pieced together my bank statement, which displayed a paltry 2 or 3 rupees. Surely, that should account for something, right? I sent him the statement in hopes it would clear my name. Just as I did, the connection dropped. My heart sank, and that mix of confusion and rage bubbled to the surface. I did not even have the chance to respond to the absurdity of the whole situation. I felt like I had let myself be trapped in a bad episode of a sitcom. I laughed loudly when I finally listened back to the recorded call later. It was one of those moments where you realize how ridiculous everything seemed. I decided to upload the audio to my Reddit profile for everyone to hear, taking the moment back with humor. But deep down, I still was overwhelmed and troubled by what had just happened. In the days that followed, I couldn't shake off that phone call. I started thinking about this woman from TRAI and the so-called police officer. They had crossed a line, pushing me into a corner and remotely determining my fate without my consent. But as I sat there, feeling frustrated, I realized that I had the power to turn this into something else. A plan began to form in my mind. Instead of sulking in my victimhood, I would figure out who was behind that call and get my revenge. I could sense I was on the precipice of something bigger than just personal disruption. This was a chance for retribution. It felt almost like fate was nudging me forward. I threw myself into the task of uncovering who had initiated this trap. It became my obsession. Night after night, I researched not only TRAI but also their phone protocol. I learned that their office number was not even legitimate. With this confirmation, the thrill of investigation kept my adrenaline pumping. I documented everything. Whenever I unearthed a new lead or clue, it felt like I was clicking pieces of a puzzle into place, but my plans would not go smoothly. I began to receive strange phone calls and messages. Someone had caught wind of my investigation. Each time the phone rang, I felt a chill down my spine. I was being monitored, or at least it seemed that way. My heart raced each time I heard that familiar ring, but the deeper I delved, the more persistent the people behind the call became. Things took a turn for the worse when I received a threatening text message. I was scared, but one thing was clear: I was not going to stop. As those threats became more frequent, I felt a strange cocktail of fear and anger boiling inside of me. I could see the faces of the nemesis behind this. They were no longer faceless, anonymous voice. They had names and behaviors that were clear in my mind. Each previous moment of fear was now replaced with determination. I composed myself one final time and prepared for the next stage in my plan. My resolve hardened, and I made a decision. Instead of directly confronting them, I would turn the tables through a different tactic. Understanding that they were trying to intimidate me gave me a unique advantage. I compiled everything I had learned, every piece of evidence, the recorded call that started all of this, and the many strange coincidences surrounding the numbers I had been receiving. I decided to post everything online, detailing the entire drama. I don't think I ever told anyone this, but I had some of the online community helping me peel back the layers. Someone out there believed in me and shared my fight. The internet was a powerful ally. This was turning into something more than just a petty revenge motivator. It was shaping into a call for justice. The threats I received quickly shifted focus onto themselves when people started to rally around my story. It was exhilarating, and for the first time, I felt confident and strong. I was prepared. After weeks of documenting and exposing the truth, I had finally gotten a lead. Someone from my online followers had discovered a connection to the original number used to contact me. It was a network of scammers operating out of a basement somewhere. The realization brought a spark of excitement to my days. I could feel the adrenaline surging through my veins. They had been using my fear as a weapon, and now it was my turn. I came up with a plan to expose their operation. With the help of my new online friends, I concocted a ruse. I created an entirely fake persona online. I made it believable enough that they would not suspect a thing. The bait was set and the hook was ready. Within days, my phone rang again and I recognized the number. My heart raced, not with fear but with anticipation. The woman's voice echoed through my speaker as she began the same old routine. "Hello, Clara Jensen. I am calling from TRAI." I almost chuckled. Instead, I played along, gathering every detail I could. The minute their scam was fully operational again, that's when I dropped the hammer. I alerted the authorities. With every piece of evidence I had collected, I sent a comprehensive report to the police back in India, describing this fake operation. The detectives were intrigued, and Keith, my online ally, even offered to help facilitate the cross-border communication. Eventually, those behind this elaborate scheme were captivated. It became a thrilling chase with every update felt like a piece of Herculean work. Watching the authorities shut them down was surreal, like watching a movie unfold. My heart felt light as I began to realize this was not just about me anymore. I had transformed this unfathomable situation into a tale of triumph. When I think back to that initial phone call, I can hardly believe how far I have come. Justice was served, not just for myself but for anyone targeted by these scams. I felt empowered and fulfilled. The road had not been easy. I had worn my emotions on my sleeve, endured threats, and faced fear head-on, but ultimately I rescued that moment. I became the hunter while they had started as the prey. My life had indeed changed, swirling into an unexpected adventure far beyond Riverside, California. I had become the protagonist of my own story. With each passing day, I continue to share my experience with others. I talk about overcoming fear and taking charge of situations that feel beyond our control. It is a reminder that no one can define me or my worth. Instead, I have learned to embrace my narrative and harness my strength. And who knows? Perhaps I will find a new story to tell next, but for this one, I am content with where I stand. Beyond vengeance, I have found a path toward empowerment, and I will walk it with my head held high. In the end, I emerge not as a victim, but as a champion of my fate, forever determined never to let someone else dictate my reality.